Cristobal Soria's words landed like a thrown stone, sending ripples out from the television studio and into every corner where football fans gather online. He said it bluntly: Sergio Ramos, once a monolith at the heart of championship sides, can't make it to the end of the month. That sentence, delivered as if it were objective truth instead of hot speculation, performed the work it was designed to do: snap the public attention to full alert, divide loyalties, and force people to ask uncomfortable questions about what happens to heroes when stadium lights dim. The immediate reaction was predictably loud: disbelief from those who remember 8-figure paydays and Champions League nights, glee from rival commentators who have long tracked Ramos with hawk-like persistence, and a sprawling field of meme makers and hot-take merchants eager to monetize the scandal that now hummed across timelines. To make sense of why a single sentence could feel so destabilizing, you have to hold two images at once: the defender smashing a header in a packed stadium, and the faint, bureaucratic world of contracts, taxes and investment accounts that underwrite sporting fame. Ramos's career path: massive salaries at Real Madrid, a high-profile move to PSG, a return to Sevilla, should on paper insulate him from ordinary money worries. Sponsorships and personal businesses add another layer of revenue nobody should ignore. And yet, the pundits' claim forces a second, darker possibility into the frame: that wealth can be porous, that public riches do not always equal private security, and that reputations themselves are fragile currencies. Cristobal Soria isn't an accidental name in this narrative. His critique of Ramos is consistent with a persona built on provocation. His role in the media ecosystem rewards sharp lines that cut through nuance and trade in outrage. That history matters because it calibrates how we judge the allegation. Was it a carefully checked report, or the kind of theatrical strike designed to boost ratings and shares? Media markets thrive on such ambiguity. The more something could be true, the more dramatic it becomes, and the more people engage. Still, the possibility that a top earner might face financial strain isn't an impossibility plucked from thin air. Across sports, there are cautionary tales of mismanaged deals, legal entanglements, and lifestyle choices that outpace income, and those narratives act like a background hum, making Soria's words both sensational and plausibly anchored. Then there is the image-driven proposition Soria floated: a public appearance at a symbolic plaza, a staged moment to reclaim attention and perhaps revenue. For many Madrid supporters, that thought reads as sacrilege. He once mythic captain reduced to publicity maneuvers. For others, it is merely a practical move, a veteran leveraging the last assets he still controls: name recognition and crowd adoration. What matters beyond taste is how the optics would play in commercial markets. Brands and event promoters scan for any sign that a figure is still culturally potent. A single strategic appearance can translate into short-term earnings and longer-term opportunities, even as it complicates a legacy. Social media responses formed two broad camps almost instantly: defenders who insist Ramos's storied past and continued influence make the claim absurd, and skeptics who point to past controversies and say that silence on complex financial matters is rarely neutral. Somewhere between those poles sits a quieter set of realities about athlete finances: dependence on advisors, vulnerability to poor investments, and the slow erosion of market value that can follow a move away from top-tier competition. Sponsorship contracts are fickle. They decline as cultural relevance does, and cultural relevance can evaporate faster than anyone expects. The human element can't be squeezed out of this conversation either. For fans, the question is not only whether a bank account is low, but what that says about how we treat our icons. Do we hold on to the memory of their greatest nights, or do we consume their decline with the same appetite that cheered their triumphs? For Ramos, the stakes are reputation and dignity. His silence so far, no public denial, no clarifying statement, has been read by some as restraint and by others as avoidance. But silence in the modern media era rarely stays neutral. It becomes a vacuum that fills with speculation, and speculation quickly hardens into perceived truth. Whatever the ultimate facts prove to be, this incident illustrates a broader truth. Sports fame, like all fame, is embedded in narrative. A single charge from a vociferous pundit can tilt that narrative and force real-world consequences, from sponsors pausing deals to fans recalibrating their admiration. The next public move, whether an emphatic refutation, a quiet clarification, or continued silence, will determine if this episode becomes a transient flare or the first page in a long... For now, the story sits between rumour and reality, and everyone, fans, brands, pundits, and the man himself, waits to see which way the scale will tip.